The storm that hit Winnipeg overnight packed a much more serious punch in the western part of the province. This was the scene last night in Brandon, where heavy rain made streets look more like lakes. Thunderstorms left many residents in southwestern Manitoba without power. Meanwhile, the town of Reston, which saw flash flooding over the weekend, re-flooded after getting more than 100 millimeters of rain last night. The RM of Pipestone's website says all of the municipality's roads are closed due to flooding. Farther north, the Paw and surrounding communities have declared a local state of emergency as they deal with the weekend's rain and prepare for floodwaters coming from Alberta. Mayor Alan McLaughlin says there are lots of volunteers helping sandbag homes as they prepare for a flood similar to the one that hit in 2011.
The community of the Paw itself is pretty high, so we've got just a few homes that we have to protect at this point, or that we protected in 2011 floods.
The province says the Saskatchewan River, which flows through the Paw, will crest within the next 8 to 12 days. To the flooding situation in Calgary now, where cleanup efforts are continuing. City's Francis D'Souza joins us live from a massive sinkhole in downtown Calgary with more. Good morning, Francis.
Good morning, Courtney. You got to look at this sinkhole here. It is absolutely massive and wedged between two buildings. Look, I'm going to give you an idea here. This is the grass. This is the actual ground here. Probably comes up to my mid-chest, but this is the safe part to stand on. Look down there. That probably goes down about 6 feet or so. And you see all these roots? You see all these roots? Come from that tree up there. So when the water came rushing through here, it really carved out its path. And you can see how the water just went in between these two buildings. Now, this building over here sustained quite a bit of damage. This one, not so much, because all the apartments are way above ground, so only their underground lockers sustained damage. However, these two buildings are tied together, so because this building doesn't have power, the people in this one can't move back in yet. Now, the other concern happening in Calgary is for the Calgary Zoo. Yesterday, they gave us a tour of the zoo and just showed us the actual damage that the African savanna sustained. And we heard some incredible stories, like how zookeepers actually had to keep hippos at bay. At one point, they had to arm themselves and then use a bobcat to keep these hippos at bay. What happened was when the floodwaters came in, the water actually lifted the hippos up and over their enclosures. Now, there's also some concern for the giraffes because they were very stressed over the 48-hour period during this flood. It was very cold water. They don't do well in the cold. So, at this point, they're holding out hope, but they haven't ruled out putting down any animals. So in the next hour, Courtney, we're going to show you some of the fundraising efforts that are going on here and some more information about the Calgary Stampede. We'll send it back to you for now.
That's great. Thanks, Francis. That's Francis D'Souza reporting live from Calgary, and he mentioned we will have more from Francis coming up on BT. U.S. President Barack Obama is making a long-anticipated return to Africa today, with the health of former South African leader Nelson Mandela hanging over the visit. The First Family will spend a week promoting democracy and economic opportunities. Meanwhile, Mandela remains in a South African hospital in critical condition. The 94-year-old was admitted June 8th with what the government called a lung infection. Officials say family members will determine if Mandela is well enough for a visit from the president. Back at home, the president of the University of Winnipeg won't be seeking a third term. Lloyd Axworthy, who is also a former federal foreign affairs minister, told the board he will serve out his current term until it ends next year. Axworthy took over the university in 2004 and oversaw the largest building campaign in the institution's history. A program meant to give underprivileged kids the chance to be football stars has wrapped up for another year. The Inner City Youth Football Program held its third season finale last night at the Frank White Field in northwest Winnipeg. Children in grades 4, 5, and 6 from 8 schools took part in the final matches. Former Winnipeg Blue Bomber Dave Donaldson runs the program in conjunction with Kids Sport Winnipeg.
I'm really proud of this program and the fact that now we're getting more support from other agencies and such. This is going to be around for years to come when I'm not around, so I'm really proud of this program.
During the course of the season, participants took part in bi-weekly practices and scrimmages, and the coaches and mentors encouraged participation, teamwork, and discipline in a fun, safe environment. And we'll have more local news coming up at 7 o'clock.